This is what people call JNF, Jewish National Fund. Why? Don't ask me. And one of the things we do is planting trees and infrastructure. Before they used to, when it started, I would say it started in the 1920s, 30s. When they started, they used to plant trees that were brought from Europe. And there was like pine trees and things like that, eucalyptus from Australia, from all over. And it doesn't fit. So a lot of these trees cause a lot of problems. And then nowadays we don't do it anymore. We try to plant the trees that are endemic that you find in this area. One, that bush that you see there, and we stood under one when we were at the Valley of the Wind. This is a natural one. And this is jujube tree. It's an edible fruit. It's like jujube candy. It's a little stone in the center, and when it's not ripe, you see it's kind of soury, and then it's like biscuit. It really tastes like biscuit, and the goats love it. The other tree is carob. Carob is in Hebrew charuv, and you cannot say charuv, or you're practicing. So charuv is, if you look at the carob, carob is the substitute for chocolate. You know, it looks like a sword. And the word sword in Hebrew is cherev. So it's called charuv because of the shape. But if you take the skin, not the pits, very interesting plant. The skin itself, it looks like that. You can eat it, and it's very rich with protein. You really eat it as a substitute of chocolate. Inside they have very, very hard pits, or seeds. Now, the seeds are so hard, only when the birds, it's so sweet that the birds eat it. And they digest the seed, and when they drop it, then it can grow into a tree. There's several trees like that only after it processes in the bird, then it can grow. Every seed weighs a carat, and that's where carat come from. Carat, weight of diamond, all right? If you ask carat of gold, it's because we have 24 hours a day. It's like the sun. And that started in Egypt. Now, the charuv, it looks like a sword, but it's a sweet thing. During the time of John the Baptist, during the time of how should I say it? During the time of Rabbi Yochai ben Zakkai, all the rabbis during the Second Temple period, before the Mishnah and the Talmud were sealed, they went out to the mountain, they ran away from the Romans. And they said, let's catch them. How will you find them? They tell them they'll stay in caves, and they live on charuv and water, on carob and water. So how will we know where the caves are? There's a fire there. So the Jewish people wanted to protect all those rabbis that were hiding in the Galilee in the mountain, and they decided to set bonfire everywhere. And we celebrate that time 33 days from Passover. How do you say 33? All Hebrew letters have numeric value, and it's Lag BaOmer. There's a holiday, there's a feast. We have few national feasts. One of them Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a national feast. Lag BaOmer is one. And one of them is Rabbi Yochai ben Zakkai is buried on Mount Meron. And every Lag BaOmer, what is Omer? Counting the days. Omer, harvesting to go to harvest the wheat. So Lag BaOmer, which lead to Sheva Shavuot. What is Sheva Shavuot? Shavuot, what is Shavuot? Pentecost. What is Pentecost? You count 7 weeks. 7 by 7, 49. Did I do it right? Yeah. All right. So this is a little bit about that. And this is for Nathaniel. What happened was, after the temple is destroyed, and a lot of the leading rabbis moved from the area of Jerusalem because they could not stay there, and the Sanhedrin was not allowed to assemble in Jerusalem. They moved to Yavne, from Yavne to Beit She'arim, to Shfar'am and to this area. And there was a rabbi by the name Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, president of the Sanhedrin, during the time, when was Bar Kokhba, Rabbi Akiva and Bar Kokhba 135. So Rabbi Yehuda Anasi says, hey, we're going to lose all the oral Bible. We have to put it together. And they sat right here in this area, and there was a very large community in Tiberias because they could not go to Jerusalem, right? So a city that was unclean became clean, and they sealed it, and they call it the second to the Bible, second Mishnah, and that's the Mishnah. So in the year 200, there was a Mishnah, but the Mishnah says, you should do this, da 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 da. Nobody can understand it, nobody knew what to do with it. And they decided, hey, let's work on it. And they worked 200 years to explain the Mishnah. But some of the Jewish people were here in the area of Tiberias, and Tiberias was as close as possible to be to Jerusalem. And some were in Babylon. So they call it Talmud. And the Talmud, there are two. The Babylonian Talmud or the Jerusalem Talmud. But really, it was not in Jerusalem. It was in Tiberias. Jerusalem and Hebron are holy to the Jews. Why? What's special about Hebron? The tomb of the patriarch. Why is it so important? You should not worship the burial site. Do you know that the Bedouins have no property, land, except the burial site? If you own a house, somebody would like to have it. If you have a road, somebody would like to have it. If you have a well, somebody would like to have it. But if it's only your burial site, you can buy it and you claim the land, and there's no problem, no fighting for it. And as you remember, Abraham was offered Hebron, but he turned the offer down and he bought it. This is something I taught my children. Anything you receive as a gift is actually not yours. So there are only two places that actually were bought. What was the other one? Jerusalem. David conquered and offered Jerusalem by Verona, and he said, no, I'm buying it. And that's why the moment you buy something, it's yours, and you hold, in Hebrew there's a very strong word for that, kinyan. And the word kinyan, to buy, I buy, but I own, but I really own it, it's mine. And that's why Jerusalem and Hebron are such a crucial point in the politics today. Why should we give it away? We have a kushan, we have a paper for it. You know, really, and that's the situation here. And later on, two other cities were added. Tiberias, and now you know why. Mishnah, 200. Talmud, by the way, Talmud and Gemara are the same, 400. And then another city up here, a city up on the hill cannot be hid, which is called Tzfat. Tzfat, Tzipori, Tzipora, all come from the same word. Tzipor, you hear it. The view of a bird, it's a high place. Tzipori. There's another place, Mitzpah, the tomb of Samuel. You've been there, tomb of Samuel the prophet, but we're going to be there anyway, so I don't mind. I'll take you to, you have to go and see tomb of Samuel. It's a spot which is, wow. I'm on to that. אתה הולך לשם? תודה. So, and there's something else happened. Jewish people have to fulfill how many law? 613 law. And it's very hard, you know, to pick it up from the Bible. So they took Caro, Rabbi Caro, took all these laws and put them in together in a book. And it says, as you set the table properly, you should set your life. It's like a manual to life. Even though 80% of the law have to do with the sacrifice at the temple. So what is the name of this book? Shulchan is table, Aruch, to set a table. So Shulchan Aruch was written by Caro. And then there was another rabbi by the name Har Arbel, and he put together some kind of mysticism And everybody tried to say when Jesus, or what Jewish people say, the Messiah, whoever it's going to be, when he's going to come, how he's going to come, how you should have a better life. But this come to, they say, to a very high level, and they call it Zohar. Zohar is a halo. That's the name of it. And this is the beginning of Kabbalah, mysticism. A lot of people that have no idea about the Bible just jump into Kabbalah, and they say, like, there's a woman by the name Madonna, do you know her? And she's right into Kabbalah. And it says in the Jewish tradition, and I think this is right, there's level of study. I must tell you that I know now things that I didn't know before, and I really think you have to mature as you go up with the Bible. It's different. And I'm a person that kind of study was so easy for me, and because I was in math, and I hated repetition, but I learned to appreciate now. So that's why I'm so nudge. And I say to you, I want you to hear me, because you build something one on top of the other. So that's why we have two sacred cities to the Jewish people here: Tzfat, Tiberias, Jerusalem, and Hebron. Here you can see, it's so cute. Yeah. We're right above here, and these are the caves that were used during the prehistorical period. Then later on were used most probably during the first temple period. Actually, they came and tried to settle here. And we know this was used a lot during the Chalcolithic period. We have evidence of that. And then during the second temple period, from the cave, they enlarged the cave, they built all this area that you see here, and in time of war they would hide there. You wouldn't even know that it's there. But yes, they did know. I would like you to see something here. Can you imagine that Herod used Roman soldiers against the people who he became their king? Part of the caves that you see here, and what I want you to see is here. During the time of the uprising, this is from Josephus Flavius, the War of the Jews, the book of War of the Jews. He made those wheels and lift. Isn't it lift? To carry the soldiers down into the cave.
Great.